Thank you. Good evening, and welcome to the Mary Ellen Abely Awards. My name is Denis McInerney, and it is my privilege to be both a lawyer here at Davis Polk and to be the president of Sanctuary's board. It's been 25 years since Sanctuary, Columbia Law School, and Davis Polk first established the Abely Awards in honor of Mary Ellen. And it's been 3 very long years since we last had the Abely Awards here in person. And we are so grateful to have all of you here tonight in honor of Mary Ellen and in honor of Dorchen and Linda. And I'm also very grateful to all of you in Zoom land who weren't able to make it tonight because of COVID or because of the rain or other reasons, because I know there are a number of you out there tuning in as well, and we are grateful for you as well. As you know, this is a particularly special evening because we're here to honor the 2 pillars of the Sanctuary legal work for the past quarter of a century, Dorchen Leidholdt and Linda Lopez. And in doing so, we also honor the memory of Mary Ellen. For those of you who don't know, Mary Ellen was a young litigation associate here at Davis Polk in the 1980s when she saw the opportunity to help Sanctuary's newly formed at the time legal center. Thankfully, she had the interest and the ability to seize that opportunity and, over the years to come, become a true champion for survivors of gender violence at a time when the work in this area was still very much in its infancy. Tragically, Mary Ellen passed away in 1995 after a long battle with cancer. But remarkably, because of her incredible commitment to helping others, she continues to this day to inspire all of us to try to do more and to try to do better in this critically important area, which she did at such a young age. I so appreciate that we all have this event to honor her memory and that her family, including John and Kristen and their family, they're all here as part of this celebration. Dorchen and Linda, others will have much more to say in a moment, but from my perspective, it is simply not possible to imagine 2 more worthy individuals to receive the Abely Award. Your talents, your passion for Sanctuary's mission, your compassionate vision of how to deal with clients, and your leadership of the most spectacular legal team in the country in this area has been absolutely invaluable to the countless successes Sanctuary's clients have experienced over the last 25+ years. Your relentless commitment to this vital work makes us forever in your debt. Now, with that, I'd like to introduce Sanctuary's Executive Director, Judy Kluger, who just today was honored to be included in the Nonprofit Power 100 list. Which identifies New York's most important and effective leaders in the nonprofit world. Judy's leadership of Sanctuary over this past 8 years has been instrumental in transforming the lives of thousands of survivors and their families. So with that, I'll throw it to Judy. Thank
you. Thanks so much, Dennis. I've been telling people that every nonprofit leader in New York City is now on that list, but it's wonderful, and it's not so much a tribute to me as to Sanctuary and the work that we do together. So good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here in person after so long. And how fitting that we're gathering at the start of Domestic Violence Awareness Month to celebrate two incredible leaders in the movement to end gender violence, Dorchen Leidholdt and Lopez. There are many dignitaries in this room and a few judges. I just want to single out one person, both for her history with Sanctuary, as well as she is the Deputy Chief Judge for Justice Initiatives in the New York State court system, Judge Edwina Richardson Mendelson. I think she was the second lawyer at Sanctuary, or number one lawyer at Sanctuary. Sanctuary for Families has been a force in this movement since our founding over 35 years ago. And our dynamic legal center is the largest of its kind in the nation. Last year, Sanctuary helped over 7,200 survivors, adults and children, offering an array of holistic services to address their challenging and very complex needs: legal representation, trauma-informed counseling, shelter, and training to prepare them for getting living wage jobs. Our mission is to help survivors find safety, healing, and self-sufficiency, and it is a privilege to watch our families thrive. Our vision is a world where freedom from gender-based violence is a basic human right. Mary Ellen Abely had that vision. I'm so proud to be here to walk with my colleagues, many of whom are here tonight, who are tireless in making that vision a reality. One such colleague and a very cherished friend is Judge Janet DiFiore. Judge DiFiore has been the Chief Judge of New York State for the past 7 years. I'm going to mention just a few of her many accomplishments as Chief Judge. She launched the Excellence Initiative, which focused on speeding case processing, eliminating backlog and delay, and improving overall quality of our court services. Her leadership during the pandemic was extraordinary. During a time of unprecedented challenges, she kept the courts running virtually, ensuring that access to justice was available in the broadest range of cases. And she focused on equity and racial justice, appointing Judge Jay Johnson as the court system's special advisor on equal justice, whose landmark report guiding the court's efforts to address systemic racism and foster equity, diversity, and meaningful inclusion in the court system. I'd also like to say a few personal things about my dear friend Janet. She is among the rarest of people, kind, compassionate, and unfailingly loyal. Despite her many accomplishments, she is as modest, open, and honest as when I met her over 20 years ago. Though she recently left the bench and will be sorely missed, I eagerly await the next chapter in her storied career. Please welcome Judge Janet DiFiore.
Good evening, everyone. What a wonderful crowd. Congratulations to Sanctuary, Judy, the board, Davis Polk. Thank you for their endless generosity. And I'm delighted to be here to join with all of you tonight as we celebrate the important work of Sanctuary, as we acknowledge and underscore the role that we as individual lawyers play in this incredibly complex and complicated area of our practice. And of course, as we always stop to remember and continue to be inspired by the model of service that was set by Mary Ellen Abely. You know, the professional opportunities that I have had over the course of my career have given me a very unique perspective on the critical role that individual lawyers can play in this work. As a prosecutor, lawyers stand up every day in courts across the country, making certain that they are doing their job to hold offenders appropriately accountable for the crimes they commit. As a family court judge, I saw firsthand every day how the impact of committed lawyers and their zealous advocacy made a real difference in the lives of women, children, and other marginalized individuals. And as chief judge, every day I had the privilege to work with lawyers internally and externally and our stakeholders and our justice partners to make sure that our judges and the professional staff throughout the court system were trained, ready, equipped, and competent to handle the many, many matters that came before us and to meet the challenge to secure fair and responsible outcomes in cases. So tonight, I am particularly pleased to be a part of a program honoring two extraordinary lawyers who devoted their careers to securing justice for victims through their skilled and expert advocacy and through their work on education and policy reforms. The kinds of effective, restorative reforms that truly, truly make a difference and have made a difference in thousands of lives across this city. So thank you to them. I know that we're going to hear all of their wonderful remarks. I want to tell you how much, very much I admire your service and your commitment to advocacy on behalf of women, children, and marginalized individuals. Thank you. Now we're going to get to the important part. We're going to celebrate our honorees, and we're going to have the presentation of the Abely. We now call it the Abely. And to do that, we have Stephanie Ferdman, who has been a rock at Sanctuary. And I don't know if everyone in this room knows this, but I was informed that Stephanie became involved here at Sanctuary at the age of 23. She is a former president of the organization, and Stephanie continues to be a force for good. Stephanie, please come up.
Good evening. If you consulted the program, you're probably expecting Marianne Mailman to be joining me in this introduction of Dorchen. And I'm certain that a contagious disease is literally the only thing that could have kept her away. Sadly, she tested positive for COVID last night. So Marianne, I'm sure you're watching at home and we all hope you're feeling better. I came to Sanctuary, as Judge DiFiore said, when I was much, much younger, an intern in June of 1995, the summer after my first year of law school. It was the year after Dorchen was hired as the director of the Center for Battered Women's Legal Services, and the year after the Violence Against Women Act was passed, two game changers for women. I had no real experience with movements or feminism or domestic violence. Meeting and working for Dorchen changed all of that. It is not an exaggeration to say that summer changed the trajectory of my life. From the beginning, like so many of you in this room tonight, I was awed by Dorchen. I quickly absorbed the Legal Center's guiding principles. First, if we could make a difference for a victim of domestic violence, we should take the case. If we didn't have the resources, we should find them. Second, once we took a case, we had to look at all of the client's needs and what it would take to get her truly safe. Housing, counseling, a support group for her children, a job. That summer was my introduction to what it means to bring a holistic approach to this complex and challenging work. 25 years later, Dorchen ensures those principles remain at the Legal Center's core. My path has not been the only one shaped by Dorchen's inspiration. Her mentorship of staff and volunteers makes us all feel we have something important to contribute, that each of us can make a difference in the lives of clients. So much of the Legal Center's important work began with a staff member's observation, even a casual what if. What if women didn't have to draft their own family offense petitions in family court? The answer was the creation of the Courtroom Advocates Project. What if we could help women whose children had been taken by ACS because of domestic violence in the home? The answer was a class action lawsuit against the city, resulting in a favorable ruling and a new policy that recognized the trauma of separating children from their mothers. These opportunities have allowed young creative attorneys to take initiative and become leaders in the field. Dorchen stands behind them and beside them, providing mentorship and encouragement. Dorchen is also, of course, renowned as a thought leader. Over the years, Sanctuary broadened its mission to include trafficking, female genital mutilation, forced marriage, and related forms of gender-based violence. This would not have happened without Dorchen's vision for what Sanctuary could and should take on. She and Linda have grown the Legal Center into the largest of its kind in the country. What an extraordinary testament. And while Dorchen's public career and accomplishments are well documented, what you probably don't know is how many deep relationships she has built with the women she has represented. The client from Myanmar who cooked Dorchen a multi-course Burmese dinner to show her appreciation after her visa was secured. The client whose children play sports and sent Dorchen pictures of their trophies. The client who got a job in the design department at Theory because Dorchen had been introduced to the CEO. And the client so many of us have sent to her. Dorchen has herself cleaned apartments before an ACS visit, stocked refrigerators with groceries, and brought holiday gifts to clients years after they ceased receiving services. One by one, Dorchen has held hands with her clients during their darkest moments. She has seen them as the complicated, complete people they are, never solely as a set of legal challenges. These deep and lasting relationships mean as much to her as they do to the women who benefit from her relentless advocacy. There is no one, literally no one, who better personifies the ideal of leading women and children to safety. Dorchen has made this leadership her life's work, and I am humbled to know her and to present her with this award.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. I have a touch of laryngitis, you may hear. The goddess works in mysterious ways. It's thrilling to be back together in person after a hiatus of 2 years. I'm so grateful for this microphone. What a hard, often harrowing time it's been, especially for the survivors we serve. But tonight is a night for celebrating our resilience. Not only Linda's and my joint 50+ years of service, but of Sanctuary for Families. This extraordinary organization, which has provided Linda and me and so many of us in this room with unparalleled opportunities to affect change on behalf of survivors. And to remember Mary Ellen Abely, whose dedicated pro bono service set the example for us all. I'm so honored that so many of Mary Ellen's family members are with us this evening. Sanctuary for Families gave me the opportunity, only 6 years out of law school, to realize my personal and professional dreams, to help build, in partnership with board and staff, the largest dedicated legal services and advocacy center for gender violence survivors in the country, and maybe even in the world. Together, we have been able to develop a cadre of legal experts, staff and volunteer, providing innovative, holistic advocacy in combating the most devastating manifestations of gender violence in our time. Intimate partner violence that strips victims of autonomy and threatens their parental rights as well as their safety. Trafficking and sexual exploitation, campus gender violence, cybersexual abuse, culturally specific gender violence, such as female genital mutilation and child marriage, the criminalization and incarceration of survivors, and most devastatingly, femicide. Our modus operandi, as we empower and advance the rights of the thousands of individual women, men, and non-binary people we serve each year, we advocate to improve the systems that should protect them, but too often deepen the harm they sustain. What has made it possible for Linda and me to make our contribution to this groundbreaking feminist, anti-racist, social justice project, to give it our all year after year? Well, it's been the wisest, most committed, and most supportive partners that any public interest advocate could hope for. It is very dangerous of me to name names, but I have to. And I'll start with former board president and sanctuary champion extraordinaire, Marianne Mailman, who has supported and nurtured me from my earliest days at Sanctuary, giving me priceless advice, including to pull up my socks, keep my head down, and keep my remarks brief. Stephanie Schwartz Ferdman, who came to the Legal Center from NYU Law School as an intern in 1995, as you've heard, and quickly morphed into an invaluable counselor, mentor, touchstone, not only for me, but for all of the other sanctuary leaders. Through times of success and struggle, Stephanie keeps us focused on what truly matters, the urgent and multifaceted needs of the survivors we serve. We are so honored that her amazing parents, the apple does not fall too far from the tree, Cheryl and Barry, are here with us tonight. Thank you so much. And thank you for the extraordinary gift of your daughter. Now I'm going to get emotional. Other leaders of Sanctuary's board, past and present, not all still with us on this earth, but all of whom continue as role models. There's so many, maybe I'll just name a few: Sarah Burke, Hadassah Brooks Morgan, Teresa Havel, we miss them. And then with us still, thank the goddess, Loretta McCarthy, Bill Gorin, Dennis McInerney, Talia Jennings, Lisa Woolman, Greg Pressman, Erin Corial, Jill Markowitz, Barbara Stimmel, Lynn Beller. I could go on, and forgive me, I wish I had time to give the full list of names of our extraordinarily committed board. Judicial leaders, I am so honored that you are here today, Judge DiFiore. Your predecessors, Judith Kay and Jonathan Lippman, have also been such pioneering change agents on behalf of survivors. And then I have to acknowledge others in this room: Judge Edwina Richardson Mendelson, Judge Mendelson, Judge Tondra Dawson. I mean, just stellar judicial leaders: Judge Ellen Gesmer, Judge Bruna DiBiase, Judge Audrey Stone, Judge Kamens. I know I'm missing many. Our deep gratitude for your judicial leadership. Heartfelt thanks to our pro bono partners, Wiles Richard Rothman, who co-chairs the Incarcerated Gender Violence Survivors Initiative with me and is the most extraordinary litigator, rivaling Denis McInerney and Garrett Beeney, could not be here tonight for the same reason that Marianne Mailman cannot be here, and we miss him. And so many others. I wish that I could name names, and I really can't. Our legal advisory council leaders, past and present: Kathleen, Ron, Tonya, Barbara, Donna, Judith, Bonnie, Helene, and there are so many others. I wanted to mention some others, and Lynn and John, thank you so much for being here tonight. You are such a power public interest couple, and it is such an honor to have you here with your extraordinary contributions to our work. Especially Lynn, New York's new abolitionist, which is going strong online. Thank you. Our executive director, Judge Judy Harris Kluger, who brings incomparable administrative skills and stalwart leadership, and her predecessor, Laurel Eisner, who kept us going strong for 11 years, including during the Great Recession. What a terrifying time for all of us, but especially for nonprofits. This is not a job for the faint of heart. Our senior team, Laura Angelo, Svati, Lisa Camisa, thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for your support. Legal Center leaders, past and present. I'm sorry, but Sunita, Evelyn, Jennifer, Dara, Lisa V, Nicole, Pooja, Ross, Caroline, Evelyn, Lindsay, Lynn. I'm so deeply appreciative of your extraordinary contributions and partnership. And last but not least, my mother, Abely Leidholdt, who is here tonight. I won't say the magical age. I think many know it. Everything I have achieved and have become is because of my mom and my husband, Paolo, who is unconditionally supportive. He puts up with so much. And then there's Linda. My first hire at Sanctuary, Linda Lopez quickly became the most indispensable professional partner anyone could hope for. In our first meeting in the summer of 1994, and ever since, I have been in awe of her passion, confidence, fearlessness, wisdom, and absolute commitment to Sanctuary for Families and our mission. Linda's trajectory was very different from my own middle-class background. The 8th of 10 children, Linda grew up on the Lower East Side at a time when it was very different from the upscale neighborhood it has become. She was deeply affected by the struggles of her community, especially of the struggles of women in the community, and determined to address them. I came to see this determination as a kind of superpower that underpins Linda's powerful leadership, her profound understanding of the obstacles our clients face, her pioneering advocacy, and her compassionate, fierce, effective, utterly dedicated direct representation of our clients. Linda has made so many outsized contributions to our programmatic work, I simply can't name them. Just a few examples. Founding our uncontested divorce workshop, she trained over 600 law school students to assist survivors. She has initiated and led Sanctuary's community outreach work, developing and presenting clinics and trainings that have strengthened the capacity of under-resourced CBOs to address the complex legal needs of immigrant women and children. She founded and leads the Sanctuary's legal team that runs our helpline and expanded it in extraordinary ways during the pandemic. To get urgently needed information to survivors during the pandemic, she initiated a newsletter and webinars. She brought in a chat function, you name it. Linda is so creative. In 2006, Linda became Deputy Director of Sanctuary's Legal Center, adding high-level administrative and policy responsibilities to her work as educator and advocate. She's taken her advocacy globally in Mexico City and in Geneva. And she's had so many extraordinary advocacy successes, never daunted by the most challenging obstacles. For example, Linda brainstormed and led the successful effort to rescue twin girls after their abusive father kidnapped them from their mother in New York and imprisoned them in a brothel in Mexico. Linda flew to Mexico to rescue those girls and reunite them with their mother. No case is too challenging. So Linda, it is my deepest honor to present the Abely Leading Women and Children to Safety Award to one of Sanctuary's and our movement's most passionate, powerful, and inspirational leaders.
That was a lot. I would like to thank Sanctuary's Board of Directors and the President's Council for working so tirelessly to support the vital and life-saving work we do. To our donors who donated on our behalf, a sincere and heartfelt thank you. We are so very grateful for your generous support. To Judy, thank you for your support and guidance and for allowing me the space to speak my truth without fear of judgment or retribution. Dorchen and I are driven by a shared conviction that misogynistic, oppressive laws and policies must change to ensure that those who are marginalized, particularly women of color, are protected and guaranteed the freedom to live their lives free from violence and oppression. We believe that men are impacted by misogyny as well, and that toxic masculinity is harmful to men and boys and society as a whole. It is with these beliefs that we fight for systemic change locally, nationally, and internationally. I could not have asked for a better mentor, leader, and partner. You are a revolutionary, and I am in awe of you. You have my deepest appreciation and respect. Why do I fight for equality? As a little girl raised in poverty in the Lower East Side of New York City, I felt what it was like to be oppressed, objectified, looked down upon, and underestimated. I was treated like I wasn't good enough. I would like to say that becoming a lawyer changed all of that, but it didn't. The thing most people don't tell you about the law and the legal profession is how inherently racist and sexist it is. Throughout my career, I've been told that I couldn't sit in the front of the courtroom because it was only for the lawyers. Court officers asked where my lawyer was, and a judge once told me that she normally doesn't let people like me in her chambers. At one point, I was so frustrated that I was going to wear a sign to court that read, "Not all Latinas are litigants." People of color are often told to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and at the very least, that is insulting. The onus should not be upon us to undo decades of segregated and subpar housing, limited educational opportunities, unequal pay, and limited employment opportunities, particularly for women of color. Policy and laws are implemented that tell us that our lives aren't worth much when we face violence, or worse, are victims of femicide. We are not born feeling less than. It is always forced upon us everywhere we turn. Our right to do what we want to with our bodies is literally under attack. Even though what we do with our bodies is none of their business, plain and simple. This is why I fight every day. The practice of law has given me the power to advocate for myself, for those I love, and for those who have sought our help. I have spent the last 28 years doing what I love, and for that, I am grateful. I would like to thank the incredibly hardworking legal directors and deputy directors who worked alongside Dorchen and I, and the smart, talented staff who serve the needs of our clients every day. We are eternally grateful for all you do. My mother was the strongest, smartest, and most courageous woman I have ever known. My desire to succeed and to make the world better is because of her. Love and sacrifice. All I am, I owe to her. To my beloved Michael, your never-ending support and unconditional love made my decision to attend law school and become a not-for-profit lawyer possible. You lifted me in ways you will never know. And I carry you in my heart always. Thank you to my sisters for being exemplary role models growing up, and to my brother David for your guidance, love, and support. You mean the world to me. To Jenny and Joe, thank you for your steady, calm voice of reason and for always being there when I needed you. I am so proud and I love you so much. To my villagers, Evelyn, Amides, and Vivian, I cannot imagine a world without you. You have taught me what true sisterhood is, and I'm eternally grateful. To Chloe and Reese, not a single day has gone by that I haven't thought about how to make the world better for you. You are my world and my reason for being. I am so proud of how compassionate, empathetic, and funny you are, and I love you. And last but not least, I want to thank our clients who, during the darkest times in their lives, have trusted us with their pain, anguish, and their fears. Their courage, faith, and strength have humbled me, and they have given to me much more than I have given to them. They push me to do better, to be more, and to keep on fighting. They are the true heroines, and tonight I celebrate them. Thank you.
Linda, that was so powerful. Thank you. And congratulations again to you and Dorchen. I'd like you both to come back, surprise, to the podium for a presentation. Come back. So I'll start. Many people in this room would have loved to be up here also talking about what they think of and how much they love and admire Dorchen and Linda, but we would have been here all night. So instead, we asked those who wanted to put their thoughts in writing in a wonderful project spearheaded by Kathleen Kandar and Eileen Lack from our Legal Advisory Council. So it's an honor to present these books to you. And with all respect and admiration for all you've done for Sanctuary and your clients. And on a personal note, it has been a privilege to work with both of you for the past 8 years. And they're never shy about telling me exactly what they think. So I hope that will continue. So that's our program. Thanks again for Davis Polk for hosting so graciously, to our Legal Advisory Council co-chairs, Tanya Klausner and Ron Newman, and for the entire council for organizing tonight's event. And special thanks to the Abely family for being here and for inspiring us in memory of Mary Ellen. I just want to say hi, Streamwise, to Marianne Mailman and thank her. She, as you know, she couldn't be here. We call her the godmother of Sanctuary. She's a great friend to all of us. So Marianne, we miss you, but I know you're watching. Congratulations again to Dorchen and Linda. It's wonderful to see how far we've come as an organization and as a movement. Let's leave here full of hope for a future free of violence. Thanks for coming. Please stay and eat and drink.